Welcome back to Becoming Her series. I am Arina Danielle, and for a long time, I allowed people into my space who didn't respect my garden. I was trying to grow. I had to learn that guarding my heart wasn't an act of hate towards others, but an act of love towards the woman I am becoming. Today, we are talking about identity and why the first step to finding yours is cutting out the noise. As you can tell, it's your girl Arina Danielle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Well, on this channel, we talk about elevating your style, your space, and your spirit. Just a quick little recap on the last episode of Becoming Her, who is Arina Danielle, episode 1. I was just giving a little background of who I am, what's my personality like, and what this channel is going to be about. Want to know a little bit more about that? Go back and watch episode 1 and come back to this video. In this episode of Becoming Her, who is Arina Danielle, episode 2, I'm going to be talking about identity shifting and what that means to me, and a little bit of background of how it all began. So, in this episode 2 of the series of Becoming Her, who is Arina Danielle, I'm going to be talking about identity shifting and what that means to me and where I feel like where it all began. With identity, I feel like ever since birth, we were born, our parents raised us, and they're the first people to teach us everything that it is to know who we are, from religion, from politics, who we're going to believe in. And then we move into the school system where there's more conditioning, where they're telling you pretty much who to be, what to learn, what to do, how to obey, and all these things just to prep you into the workforce. And just even more conditioning when, if you really look at it, all of it connects to each other in a sense. And so after high school, it's kind of when you get out, it's who am I? Because school keeps you so busy with so much busy work. You have exams, you have to study, you're distracted a lot. And so it keeps you from going within and figuring out who I am. What do I really like besides the surface level things? As far as going deeper, you haven't really figured it out yet. All the surface things, you'd be like, oh, this is my favorite color, I like this sport. But on a deeper spiritual level, it's kind of, you really don't know that until you really be still. And I remember when my daughter graduated from high school, she really didn't know what she wanted to do. And so I was just like, hey, just take a year to just sit with yourself, to really figure out who you are. And she was like, yeah, because I really don't know what I want to do. It was just like this shock to her, because you've been in school, bow down with all of this busy work, just all the distractions, and you haven't really had time to figure out what you really like, what you want to do, what lights you up, and what you're passionate about, because you're so busy showing up and trying to get the grades and all of the things. And so, and then life goes on, and then if you don't figure it out early on, you're busy trying to go figure out going to college, paying bills, trying to be an adult, and doing all these things, and it's just more and more and more distractions to keep you from figuring out who you are. I feel like identity is just like anything else, like a healing journey. You're always growing and evolving and trying to figure out who you are on a deeper level, basically. So for me, my last just awakening, and where I was just self-aware of where I was really shifting, was just back in August, where I was just surrounding myself with it wasn't really terrible things. It was just going out and just hanging around people that I outgrew, and I just kept shrinking myself and trying to put myself in boxes in places where really I've outgrown. And so going back to what the 9 to 5, talking about that, God once pulled me out of that, from out of my 9 to 5, and pulled me from my relationships to sit with myself, even from going to church. God was like, I need you to sit with yourself. And that was the first big awakening, where I was just like, what is going on? And it was the most difficult time as well, because I was so confused, and of course everybody else around me was too. Why is she acting weird or whatever? So losing friendship connections and everything, that was really hard when people are not understanding when God is doing something in your life, when God is isolating you to get closer to God and to figure out your passions and your purpose and to just figure out who you are spiritually. And so for me, I sat with myself. I ended up quitting my job. I have a video on that, why I quit my 9 to 5. And so I pulled up from my job. My relationships was ending, friendships. I wasn't hanging out with anyone anymore. But so I just sat in solitude and prayed, meditated, sat with myself. And through that time, in that solitude, I really was like, I'm finding out what I enjoy, who I am outside of being an employee. Who am I outside of being in these friendships and these circles? And who am I outside of being a mom, being a daughter? And so I really started getting to know myself on a deeper level. And so where I am now, I had my awakening back in 2018. So again, this series is just to share my experiences, and hopefully people can resonate with it and learn something from my spiritual awakening journey as well. But so going back, I just sat with myself and I was just so excited to get to know myself. And during that time as well, I was healing, doing a lot of healing, because once you sit with yourself, things are going to come up. And so I'm like, oh, our life, and from school, you're going from one thing to the next, and you're just distracted, and relationships are ending, and things are happening in your life, and you just tend to have to sweep it under the rug and keep going. You have to still get up and go to work. You have to still get up and go to school, and you're not really healing. You're not really processing all of the things that are going on. So when I first sat with myself in isolation, it was like, oh, everything started coming up all the way back from my childhood, from my teenage years, just everything. So just I took step by step and started dealing with it. And first I started healing my inner child. I started doing that inner work, and that was really tough. I'm talking about I was doing an ugly cry, just healing and talking to my inner child and to my younger self, and just telling her that I'm so proud of her and that I'll never leave her and that I'm gonna protect her. And it just started there. And I don't know, just like I was just getting these downloads to this is what you need to do, and not knowing that, oh, this is shadow work and all of the things. I didn't know what the labels were and all of that, but I was just being obedient, and just whatever God was telling me to do, I was doing it. So in my last video, I was just saying who I was, and sometimes that is hard for us to just, if somebody say, well, who are you? First thing we'll say is, I am this age, I am a mom, I am this, the surface level things. But when I sit in isolation, that's all of the things I've learned, that I am not tied to just being a mom or just working at this job, this career I'm a nurse or I'm this. On a spiritual level, I was able to find who I truly am to my core. And so I'm able to say these things naturally now, versus if somebody probably would have asked me before that inner work, I probably would have just said those things. Well, I'm a mom, and just the surface level thing. Now I can go a little bit deeper and say I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I love people. I love helping people. I'm a very introverted woman, but I'm very extroverted around people that I feel safe with. I'm very creative. I love creating things. I love nature. I love sitting with and meditating. I love connecting with my family. That's what makes me happy. When I'm feeling down, I know I need my mom or something like that. And I'm very passionate about the people that I care, the things that I'm creating, my business, and women, connecting with women, inspiring women. And so I can just really go on and on about who I am on a spiritual level. And that's really important, to get to know yourself on that level. So quick little moment so I can see where I am. So basically, God pulled me out of my 9 to 5. I talked about that. And I know that God was just wanting me to be closer, to build my relationship as well. I want to say that all the obstacles that we go through in relationships is just to help us, to build us. From my job, from my relationships. If you're having issues within your family, God is trying to teach you how to have healthy boundaries. And if you're having them in your romantic relationships, God is trying to show you, hey, don't lose yourself in anyone else. Always put yourself first. And then if you're finding issues within your job, God is just trying to show you, hey, I've gave you everything that you need to be creative, and you don't have to just depend on that if that's something that is not making you happy. So if anything in your life, if you're not happy about it, it's something that, don't continue to complain about it. You have the choice to say, you know what, I can just shift this mindset of this negative self-talk, and I can change it. If I don't like the size I am, I can make one small step today to change that. And over time, you'll see a huge change by these small tasks and habits that you change each day. And so, speaking on that, I'll go into the next thing and how I balance my day, how I remember to just stay balanced. I look at my day as mind, body, and spirit. So, my mind, I look at it as like I wake up and I pour into my mental well being, always trying to be self-aware of my self-talk and the things that I'm telling myself. I don't judge my thoughts. I would simply just observe them. And if something negative comes up, I don't like spaz out. I just give myself grace, but I change it. If it's something negative, oh, I gotta get up and go to work or something like that. And just instead of saying that, I'm like, I get to get up and go to work because this is gonna be a stepping stone to help me to build the life that I want. So when you wake up on a positive note, that energy just attracts to you. So in making better choices, I don't want to forget that either, and that kind of ties into it too. So if it's like, oh, I don't like the weight that I am, I want to lose weight, let's tie it into spaces, because this channel is about elevating your spaces too, and clean out that refrigerator, all of the junk food and all of the things that won't serve you to the person that you want to become. So clean all of that out and replace it with healthier meals or healthier things to eat. And that's just a small habit that you can do, and you don't have no choice, because that's all you have. And so you'll just go ahead and choose some fruit instead of a Debbie cake or something like that. And so that's kind of one of the things that I did for myself. It was tough in the beginning, but you can just always start small, start slowly incorporate more healthier things into your diet. Even if you go to fast food, I remember starting off, I'm at somewhere, if they have an option for a salad, I'm gonna get the salad or whatever the case may be instead of getting a hamburger. So just starting there, instead of getting a drink, get a cup of water. So you can always make better choices for yourself to become the woman that you want to become. And next, it would be body. And that kind of flows back into that too, with the physical aspect of things. Eating healthy, moving your body each day, whether if it's just stretching, whether if you're a gym girly, 5 a.m. girly, getting up every day, doing some type of movement will not only just help with your physical aspect, but it'll help with your mental as well, going back to the mind. And also your spaces. When I first had my my little aha moment for shifting my identity, one of the first things I did was, it's the people. It was my environment. And so I was like, oh, well, I'm just gonna have to remove myself from the people that I'm hanging around, the places that I was going, my physical external spaces. So everything starts within and manifests outwardly. So however you feeling within yourself, you're gonna see it on your outside reality. So I just started cleaning it up, decluttering everything in my life. Like the associates had to go, the environments, the places that I just started feeling icky in. And I was just like, this is not who, I see myself becoming. And it's just, I don't know where it came from. It just started coming in. I'm just like, I guess it was God just pushing me to be the highest version of myself. So I was like, it was tough. So my alarm went off, but so the edit probably looked a little weird. But yeah, so I just started clearing out, my environment, the associates that was no longer serving me, the places that I was going that I no longer served me. I just saw myself as someone who hung out with like-minded women. Like I saw myself like wanting to maybe, try out a new hobby, painting or going tennis, or like really nice brunches, going to nice places instead of going to bars all of the time. And just hanging out all times of the night and stuff like that. So I was just like, I just don't see the highest version of myself doing those things. So I switched it. And so after I eliminated, the associates and going certain places, I started with my closet. I was just like, okay, I'm starting over. And at first I didn't think that I was going to completely empty my closet. But that's how it ended up. I was trying to separate things into piles, like, donate, keep, da da da. But I ended up trying everything on, and I recommend trying it on at least 2 to 3 times. Like if you make the pile, like maybe a maybe pile and a keep pile, to try it on one more time and see how you feel about it. And then if it's like, it don't make you feel like, that girl, it gotta go. And so that's what I did. And I ended up having like maybe like 5 to 6 things, like maybe 5 things for the, fall, and 2 to 3 things for the summer. I was like, oh my God, I don't have any clothes now. So I did the same thing with my shoes, and it was okay. So I would try things on, and I'm like, yeah, it just didn't feel right. So I was like, it's fine. I work from home anyway. So I was like, I'll have time to just like start my wardrobe all over. And if you've watched one of my videos, I have a boutique called Arina Danielle. And that's what it's all about. It's about this line, this clothing line is for the women who are becoming her, she's already her. And that's another, like, tip, like, you're already her, you just are uncovering it. But yeah, so again, Arina Danielle pieces, or they're elevated, they're for the boss woman. It's for the woman who is elevating in life, and who has amazing boundaries, who has great spiritual hygiene. That woman who, she's in real estate, she's running her own business, she's, if she is in corporate, she shows up and runs the room. And this is one of my pieces. It's a monochromatic jumpsuit with white side panels, and I just love it. I adore this outfit, and has side cuts. It's called CEO Monochrome Jumpsuit on arinadanielle.com. Y'all go get that. It's only a few left, but this jumpsuit is amazing, and it makes me feel like the evolved woman that I want to become, like the boss woman. So even like on the weekends when I'm not working, I just get dressed up, put my name tag on, and I just become her. And that's how you really attract and manifest things into your life, when you act as if, So I go in my office and I put my name tag on, sit at my desk and do some work. And I guess in the energy that I'm putting out, sometimes I'm just sitting there and I'll start getting sales, just because I'm being her, even if I feel like I haven't caught up to it yet, or her yet. So yeah, so that's all about the body, and a little bit more of what I do after I reset my closet and decluttered. I remember pulling all of the bags, just dragging them down my hall, and it reminded me of like the Bag Lady song. And I just felt like this weight lifted off of me, and I was just like, got emotional. And I was like, why am I getting an emotional, about dragging this bag? But it kind of felt like that's what we do. We're holding on to things and people and places, when God is trying to tell us it's time to let it go, and it's okay to let things go and welcome in the new. And so all of these things I'm just dragging out, it was so heavy. So on a spiritual level, what that does, it does is just opens up the space, and it's letting God in the universe know, like, hey, she's ready for better. She's making room for more in the new. And so the last one is your spirit, but all of it is spiritual. Having a great spiritual hygiene for me looks like it's kind of like a sandwich between my feminine and my masculine side, so I can keep the balance of still being soft and feminine and flowy, but we can't be that all day long or we wouldn't get anything done. I would love to just be in my feminine energy all day long, but it wouldn't be as fulfilling. Nothing would get done. I'll just be sitting around, walking around with silky robes on all day, looking cute, and the dishes are piling up. So I start my day off on a softer note, a feminist, a little mixture of masculine as well, because I am putting in some action in there as well, but it starts off very slow. So I wake up before my feet touches the ground. I say a prayer. I just thank God and thank my body and my cells for another day. Thank my body and my organs for operating and keeping me alive. And my journal is like sitting right next to my bed. It's on my nightstand, so it reminds me to immediately wake up and show gratitude. Gratitude is so important. It cuts out all of the complaining, and that's another way to attract abundance into your life when God sees that you are grateful for what you do have. And just when it comes to the identity, just giving myself grace, and the season that I'm in now may not be where I want to see myself, but just being grateful for my efforts. So I write 3 things down that I'm grateful for, and affirmations, and it's just setting the tone for my day basically. Sometimes I'll journal. I have a journal next to my bed as well, and then sometimes in the middle of the night I wake up a lot in the middle of the night, and I use that time to just kind of pray or listen to God, meditate, or just kind of brainstorm. Sometimes I get ideas a lot in the middle of the mornings, and I'll just have that on the side of my bed to jot down my ideas and things that come up for me, or my dream. I'm a really heavy dreamer, so sometimes if I get messages in my dreams, I'll jot those down as well. And then I'll go into the part where I'm just getting myself together for the day, and I go, to do the normal things, going to the bathroom. And since I'm already in the bathroom, washing my face, doing my face routine and all of that, I go ahead and put on mirror affirmations. So while I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I can be affirming to myself that I'm beautiful, I'm confident, I am enough. And so those affirmations really, help me. Sometimes I like the ones that have jazz music in the background, but sometimes it's more of a meditation and affirmations. I like those better because it's like a little bit more slower, a little bit more calmer. So I do that. And so if I decide to take a shower or whatever in the morning, I work from home, so sometimes I already took one at night. But if I decide to take one, I put a shower meditation on and help me just kind of release some energy as well. So it just reminds me everything I'm already doing is anyway. So I just kind of habit stack is what they call it. So I'm already doing one task, and I just you know add something else to it while I'm doing one task. And I find that to be very productive for me. But if I don't, I'll go into my sacred space. I have a sacred space corner that I made where it's just my own personal space where I sit and connect with myself and God. And I have a journal there. I have my Bible and my plant baby surrounding me, and my salt lamp. And it's just so cute. And yeah, so I sit there. Sometimes I have a journal. If I haven't journaled in my bed, sometimes I just feel a little, lazy, before I make my bed and all of that. Sometimes I just want to I want to journal for my bed. And I also have books too. I have a book in my sacred space area and on my bed. So sometimes I'll try to read a page or two or something like that, and try not to touch my phone early in the morning as much as I can, unless it's playing the affirmations or something like that.
sometimes if I'm struggling, I'll use the light to kind of watch something motivational to kind of pull me out of that mood. And when I do the gyms in the morning, whatever, after I do all of that and let the dog out and make tea, have my vitamins, I would do the 5 a.m. Going to the gym for only 30 minutes, because sometimes I have to be online on calls around 7:30. So it just depends on what time. Each and every day for me is different because I start work at different times. So if I start work around 7:30, I try to be up 4:30, trying so I can get my morning routine in and get myself together, go to the gym and be back in time and still be able to slow into my day or whatever. So sometimes that works, and I've been trying to figure out what works best for me. I do love moving my body in the morning, but I do like slower mornings. I don't really want to do anything too rigorous in the morning, but I think that it depends on like your goals and what you want to see, and as far as gains and all that, the best time to go to the gym. Sometimes it's that if your goals is, to gain muscle here or whatever. I was looking into that and saying that if you're trying to get glutes and all that, it's probably best to go in the morning or something like that. I was kind of looking into that. I don't know if you want to know more about that. Just get up. Not an expert in that, but I was just like, okay. I was just trying to figure out for me what was, be the best time to go. But I like the mental clarity that going to the gym in the morning gives me. It just gets everything going. I have the most energy versus going in the evening. Then I'm all hyped up in the evening when it's time to wind down. So I do like that aspect of it. So yeah, so that's basically my morning routine. Like I have a little puppy, so I take her out. I like to have tea in the morning. I have that. I have all my vitamins, and sometimes I'll have after the tea, have the water. I always have water on the side of my bed, but then after that I hydrate myself. And then I start the masculine side of my day. So that looks like, since I work from home, I get on calls all day, but it's still pretty like relaxing for the most part. And after I get off of the remote job, I'm still in my office, so I'll start working on my own business, seeing if I have any invoices, anything for florals, or any packages I need to get out for my boutique, or just any work that I need to do on the computer, or any content that I need to create. I just do all of that, or errands and all of that, in after work. Um, so yeah, and that's basically the bulk of the day. It's very masculine. It's very get things done. And then after I'm finished with all of that, it's back to the night routine, and I'm unwinding. This is starting, it's like a reverse from the morning. Is, showering, is, doing the skincare routine and all that. And so I do the same thing. I do the shower meditations when I'm in the shower, mirror work, or sometimes I'm just listening to maybe I won't do the mirror work. Maybe I'll just listen to, they have like R&B, affirmation songs, and they're like real hip and poppy too. And I'm like, oh, I love it. And like the jazz ones, and it's just music. It's just kind of like anything else that we like to listen to, whether it's Keisha Cole or whoever, Brandy, Monica, whoever you into. But it's for like spiritual, it's really spiritual, it's really uplifting. It's, nothing but affirmations throughout the song, but in like a format of R&B, or it can be jazz, it can be, any of that. And so I love those songs. So I put those on while I'm cleaning or doing my night routine. So I'll clean one space of my home. As of late, I've been really big on trying to make sure that, I'm making sure that I'm preparing for the next day, making sure that I'm cleaning behind myself, the kitchen, and not leaving dishes in the sink. So just making those things a habit of taking care of my space, because that also helps with the mental clarity. So if your space is just all crazy, it's all a mess, it's just a reflection of maybe some things that you're going on with yourself. But I do still on days give myself grace where, I just maybe want to just lay there. I do listen to my body. If I say just lay there, but I'm only gonna give myself maybe one a day to do that, because sometimes you're doing that, like you're trying to fall into like a slump, and I'm like, nope. If I feel that coming, I'm like, nope, we're not doing that. We're gonna get up, and we're gonna take care of our safe selves and take care of what God has given us and will need in this situation. But yeah, and so instead of complaining, because I used to be like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't want to wash these dishes. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to the gym. But, changing my mindset of saying, well, I have grateful to even have dishes. There's something to eat off of. So, and taking care of again what God has given me, um, and also my home, and just trying to keep things clean and up to date and fixing things. And it's just like, oh well, sometimes you can complain. And one moment I was praying for a house, and then you get it, it's like you don't take care of it, or you just don't appreciate it anymore because now you have it. So I was like, I don't want to do that. And just a lot of times I look around and be like, I may not have, you know, that the woman that I'm trying to become, dream home, but I love my home. I love that it sits on a hill, and that I get a lot of natural sunlight that comes through my windows in my patio and my dining room window, and just walking around and seeing like all the work that and the renovations that I put in. And one day that I used to just sit and visualize, oh, I want this room to do this and look like this, and I want to design this room like this, and seeing that now it's actually that, and just really soak that all up instead of just trying to hurry up and move on to the next thing and not appreciate just all the progress that I've already made within my space. So I just try to basically romanticize every aspect of those three pillars, like, in my routines. Just buying really cute things and having all the colors coordinated. If my favorite color is pink, get all pink stuff and whatever makes you happy. And that's kind of what I do. I love sparkly things, so I incorporate that throughout my house. It's all me. I love mirrors and all of that. And so I just do that. So if whether it's a journal, if it's gonna match my decor, I want to get it beige to match everything, and just a little cute tea. I love tea, so I'll get cute little teacup sets and things like that. So everything that you really like, just romanticize it, and those little small things, make you happy, and also it's a part of you becoming her and the person that you want to be. And each and every day when you're showing up as if it life don't have no choice but to give you more of that. So yeah, so from my night routine and my bedding, certain things that I may find what it could be and Target, the little dollar section or something like that, but I'll get those things and just make it mine, and make it beautiful. You don't have to have all of the money in the world yet to have nice things and have a nice home and a nice space, or to wear, nice clothes, or to really, show up, with style. I need my hair done right now, but I'm gonna refresh it. I'm gonna spread with some sheen or whatever, and just do the best that I can with what I have. Again, like I say, like my home is not the grandest or whatever, but I buy things and be very intentional when I'm buying things for myself. As long as it makes me happy and it looks nice, I'll DIY something in a minute. But as long as it makes me happy, looks nice, people think walking my house, I'm like, well, probably think I spend fortunes on things. I just incorporate. It's just kind of like with clothes. You can incorporate, some, basic pieces and with a high-end bag or high-end shoes or accessories, and that whole outfit you'll be looking like $1,000,000. And that's kind of how I look at my space in my home. I'll splurge on a piece or whatever, and it's my statement piece, just like dressing or whatever. And I'm like, okay, my dress is gonna be my statement piece. I splurged on it, and everything else I can kind of accessorize surrounding it. But things that really matter to you the most, maybe like I love a comfy bed, so I splurged a little bit on my bedding. Usually I didn't do that. I was like, this, as long as it's cute, I'll get that, and you can do that too. But to me, I wanted to feel luxury, like I'm sleeping in a hotel. So I was like, I'll splurge a little bit more on this with some high quality pillows. You know how as women we do the little chop in the middle of the pillow. Now some of the pillows, if you ain't got the right pillow, it ain't gonna chop right. It ain't gonna be stiff. So you got to get the pillows with the feathers in it and like nice quality. So when I invested into that, it was like, oh, I slept so much better. And all that again ties into your mental well-being and spiritual well-being as well. Waking up feeling great, putting on nice, quality clothing, with soft PJs and things like that. I started doing that more, and matching sets to bed and silk satin robes. And it just made me feel like, that girl meant better about myself versus when I was just gonna wear an old shirt or something like that. And sometimes with them shirts, my old clothes be feeling good, but you don't really feel your best self when you do that. So I started incorporating that. And so even in the beginning of the video, I was hanging up like my sets for work, because since I work from home, sometimes I will be like, I'm tired. I'm just gonna go in here in my robe on with this bonnet and just be looking crazy all day, and I just feel blah. But I said, let me invest in a uniform each and every day. Get out of my PJs and put on these sets. Put on some jewelry, even if it's just slicking my hair in a ponytail. Do something to make myself feel better. And also with working every day, and sometimes you become bitter when you're so busy. But if you take those moments at the end of the day to pour back into yourself, whether you'll have something to look forward to, whether if it's a bath bomb or Epsom salt bath, and you lay your nice, PJs out, and you really just slow down and massage yourself with your oils and your lotions, and really give yourself that self-care, that helps so much. And as we're trying to become her, I mean, that is a prime example of it, that in its own, like becoming her, showing up for yourself each and every day. So like, yeah, so basically that's how I balance my days out. I think about those three things: mind, body, and spirit. And then the active part of my day is, the beginning of my day is very feminine, the middle of my day is very masculine, and then I end my day with more feminine things, pouring back into myself from all of the things that I have poured out to the world. So yeah, I want to say that is pretty much it. I had some tips. I went on a ramble, that's why I try to go by my notes, but I think I did give an identity audit of just basically auditing your circles, auditing your environments, auditing your space, and just taking a look at it like this um, you know, connect with the person that I am trying to become. If it does not, like, the friends, they gotta go, the environments, they gotta go, and it's gonna be hard. Just yesterday, I had to deal with that, and it was just like I wanted to avoid it. Somebody had to let go. I reached out, and I'm like, you know, it was hurtful, but it was like, is that, do I want to put myself back in that environment, where I'm not growing and becoming the woman that I am? And sometimes you can, never know that you can revisit these relationships and things, relationships, if people kind of evolve as well and they do the inner work as well, and never know where life would take you all. But in this season, I'm just choosing me and trying to become the best version I can possibly be for myself. And if that means, oh gosh, my stomach is growling. But if that means, you know, setting boundaries, with family, friends, and everything, saying no, if that means having to, have a little moment of being discomfort for, my peace, I'm okay with that. But yeah, so like your habits, getting rid of that, the negative self-talk, yeah, definitely all of that has to go. Get rid of it. Speak over yourself. Watch your words. Words and thoughts, they become things, they manifest so fast. So even if somebody else is including you and speaking negative over you, repeat that and be like, no, that's not for me. That may be for you. And hurry up and, stop that and, in the tracks or whatever. Don't let nobody speak negative over you in your life. And so, but just a quick, note here. Hopefully you took something away from this video of episode 2 of Becoming Her, who is Arina Danielle. So good takeaway for today in the message is just be her now, and eventually everything will keep up and you will become her. You've always been her. It's just all about, uncovering all of the things, all of the programming, all of the condition what the world and other people placed on you and say that who you were, just uncovering that so you can come back to self and remember who you are. And you just remember you are that girl. And so comment her down below if you are becoming her in this season. And if you resonated with anything in this video, share it with a friend. Don't forget to comment her in the comments if you are becoming her. You're dedicated, this upcoming year to be the best version of yourself, mind, body, and spirit. Let's work on ourselves. This year, I feel, was all about shedding. They say it's the year of the snake. So it's all about shedding the old, peeling back those layers of things that no longer serve you, and going into the season where it's about, your purpose and your passions and giving back, to the world, and how you can do that is not the man in the mirror, but the woman in the mirror. It starts with you, and everything from there, you putting that positive energy out into the world. It's the best gift that you can do. If you feel like you can't change it, you can by just starting with changing you, the woman in the mirror. And I thank you so, so, so much for tuning in to, again, episode 2 of Becoming Her, the series of Who is Arina Danielle. Okay, so I think we elevated our style, our spaces, and our spirits today. So into the next one. Thank you so, so, so much. Bye. Another quick takeaway message before I end. I want to read this to you with some notes that I jotted down in my sleep. The takeaway from this message today: I realized I didn't need to heal more. I need to decide differently. Becoming her isn't about doing more, but tolerating less. The version of me I wanted. Oh, back up. Can read our own handwriting, child. The version of me I wanted already existed. I had to stop abandoning her. So again, don't abandon her. You owe it to your younger self. You owe it to your inner child to show up as the best version of yourself, to work on yourself, to work on your mind, your body, your spirit, your relationships, and most importantly, the relationship with yourself. All right, now I'm going for real this time. Bye.